PRS has just loaned me their newest guitar, and I have realized some things about this that no one else is talking about. I'm Dave with Beast Made Reviews, of course a channel dedicated to reviewing quality at different price points. Now, many of you have watched my other videos on PRS. I'm making an ongoing series about a lot of the newer guitars that are coming out from PRS. I love what they're doing. I've been a fan of theirs ever since I've been a teenager, and I've been on the hunt recently to find that one guitar from PRS that I really need, I really want. Since I play every week at my church, I get a lot of use on my guitar every week live. So I'm really looking for that one guitar to keep. Now, I want to keep all of the ones I try, obviously, but I really want to find that one guitar that fits a certain role, that fits in a certain space within my collection that I can use and really speaks to me. And that's what I'm really looking for. So today we're going to be talking about their latest guitar that they just released. This is the SE Custom 24 Semi-Hollow Piezo. But before we do that, if you like this type of video, definitely subscribe down below. I think you really like it here. If you like guitars, if you like anything with fashion EDC, anything cool, I think you'll really like it here. And if you're interested in this guitar, I'll have a link down below to Zounds. That is an affiliate link. Anytime you buy through that, it does help out the channel, and I always really appreciate it when you do that. You can get other stuff too, like if you need some strings or cables or what have you, definitely go to the link down below, and that will just help support the channel. Thank you so much. All right, let's get to this guitar. Now, this guitar is a really interesting release from PRS. Now, in recent years, they've been making straight up bangers in the SE line. A lot of the really cool guitars they've been making recently have been in the SE line. And this newest one is their best one yet, easily. It also happens to be their most expensive model as well. But still, at the price that it is, I think it still sits in a really good value for what you get. But this guitar, the SE Custom 24 Semi-Hollow Piezo, again, another really long name, is an excellent guitar, and I've watched a lot of reviews on this guitar since it came out pretty recently. All of them have been really excellent, but I think I have realized some things about this guitar that no one else has really talked about. Maybe because I come from a different perspective about how I use this guitar and how I see this guitar as compared to my other main guitar, my Parker Fly Mojo. Now, my Parker Fly is easily an S-tier guitar. It's an amazing guitar. I bought this back in 2004. I'm the original owner of this guitar. I bought it during the time it was transitioning over from Parker being bought by, I think, US Music Corp. This one is almost impossible to beat. I want to make a whole video about this one. This one is kind of my standard for guitars in general, for really versatile guitars. Now, when PRS came out with this Custom 24 Piezo version, that really perked up my ears because my Parker Fly obviously has a piezo in there as well, an acoustic piezo pickup. So I really wanted to try this and see just how good it was. Thankfully, the fine folks at PRS loaned me this guitar, told me to really kick the tires and really see how it was, and I did just that. I got to play a lot of this guitar, and I have a lot I want to talk about. first, let me go over some of the specs real quick. Now, of course, they have a lot of the common PRS specs here. 25-inch scale length, 24 frets here, 10-inch radius. There's bird inlays. It has the SE tuners. This has a wide, thin neck. There's a shallow carve on the body. This has 8515S pickups. This has a mahogany body with a maple cap and a maple flame veneer with a maple set neck. And then there are a couple of other features that really separate this from the other SE guitars in the line. First is the binding. They have binding on the body as well as the neck. Then there's a maple neck. Normally guitars that are in the Custom 24 range have a mahogany neck. This has a maple neck, which I like. Of course, this is semi-hollow with an F-hole. You don't get that all the time on a Custom 24. This has a really good tremolo, and of course the piezo pickup as well, the LR Bags and PRS piezo system. This has 2 output jacks, a magnetic only and a blend acoustic output as well. And recently, one great change, I think, is the upgraded knobs. They recently updated all the SE line with the lampshade knobs, and I think that looks great. I think it's a small change that really changes the overall look of the guitar to something that looks a little bit more premium. I'm assuming it wasn't that much of an expense for PRS, and we get something that looks even better. I think that's a great change. And just the knobs themselves are great knobs with the little knurling on there. They're so good. The next thing I noticed here is the piezo system. Now, obviously the piezo system is a selling point for this guitar, so it's not something that was missed by people who reviewed this or anyone else for that matter. But what I think is great about the piezo pickup is just how versatile it is and how much it can shape and change the tone of your guitar. Yes, you can split the guitar into 2 different signals and have your electric go one place and have your acoustic go another place. Yes, you can play just acoustic on there, or you can play just electric on there. But to me, I think the coolest way to play this is with the blend. You're taking the guitar with both signals and blending them into one output. Now the pickups by themselves, these 8515S pickups, I think they sound great on their own. But when you blend the acoustic in with those pickups, it really does something magical to the sound. The first thing it does is it adds a huge amount of depth and dimension to the overall sound. The lows get a little bit more clear, the highs get a little bit more fat. It sounds fantastic clean, but even with gain or overdrive, it really adds this kind of really rich and complex harmonic kind of blanket over the guitar that really enhances the overall sound of the instrument. There's this kind of harmonic sheen that happens on top of the electric signal that is really addictive to play. It's something that I've come really accustomed to hearing and playing with, and I really like that a lot. Just having this at the ready, where you can blend your acoustic in there, even just add 100% acoustic with your 100% electric, is really something. The cleans sound beautiful, and the gain sounds ridiculous. And the best part to me is that even when you blend these two together, it doesn't sound like you're adding an acoustic on top of an electric. It just sounds like a different type of electric guitar. The third thing I noticed is the output jacks. Now again, people noticed this, but I thought this was a really clever design from PRS because no matter where you plug into, you're always going to get an electric signal. Because if you're playing live and you accidentally plug into the wrong jack, you're still going to get your electric signal, which is most of what you're looking for probably right away. They could have made this design where it was one acoustic jack and one electric jack, but they didn't. It's just a small quality of life thing that really makes a big difference, especially when you're playing live. The next thing I noticed are the electronics. Now this by far is my favorite configuration by PRS to date. This is easily the best. For one, master tone, master volume. Great, love that. Push-pull coil split on the tone. Fantastic. Angled three-way pickup selector switch. Love it. And then no switch for the acoustic. No toggle, no push-pull, no nothing. It's always on. And then if you want it, you just blend it into taste. And then the blend knob is a kind of a higher friction knob, and it's even a little bit out of the way, so you're not going to knock it while you're playing. Incredible job there. Kudos to whoever designed that. The next thing I noticed was just the kind of feel of how it plays. Now this may be a little bit hard to describe, I'm going to try, but the notes kind of have this bloom to them, this kind of effortless bloom to the notes. Like whenever you play it, it's almost as if the notes were waiting for you to be there, waiting for you to play them, and they just leap off the guitar. Like the lightest touch will just bring it out. It's a really addictive and very satisfying experience whenever you're playing the guitar. The feedback is immediate. The notes are just there. And then they sustain in a really beautiful way. It just has this natural bloom to them. It's beautiful. Now this is a semi-hollow body and it is a little bit lighter, so it feels like it's maybe resonating a little bit more. It's really fun to play. The next thing I noticed was the tremolo. Now the tremolo is really good on this. I don't know how much it adds to the sound, but what I find most interesting about this design is that there is a tremolo on this at all. Now true, custom 24s, they do have tremolos on them, but acoustics don't. So the fact that this has an acoustic pickup on there with a tremolo is a very interesting choice. Just imagine what creativity and things could spark from having an acoustic with a tremolo. I think that's really cool. They could have not put this on there at all, but I think having this on there was a great choice. The next thing I noticed was the neck. Now the neck is a wide, thin neck on paper, but having played a lot of the SE line, this feels a little bit different. It could be the binding on there makes it feel a little bit different. It could be the finish on there makes it feel a little different. But this plays differently than other wide thin necks out there. It feels a little bit, tiny bit bigger. I like bigger necks in general, and I'll take it. It's also a maple neck, which changes the sound of the guitar, I think, in a noticeable way. And to my eyes, looking at the guitar through the finish there, it looks like there's some quarter sawn pieces, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but that is pretty cool for a budget guitar. The next thing I noticed were the pickups. Now, as luck would have it, I actually had an American-made guitar from PRS that was similar specs to this guitar here. I had a CE24 semi-hollow. Now, it doesn't have the Piezo pickup. The main difference were the pickups. The CE24 semi-hollow has the American-made 8515s, whereas the SE version has the S version pickups. But sound-wise, I was really interested to see how these compared. And frankly, I think the SE version pickups sound a lot better. And even the split pickups on the SE sound better than the CE24 does. The American-made CE24 semi-hollow, I think feels better, but the SE is not that far behind as far as feel. And personally, I think that the SE version even looks better compared to the CE24, which that brings me to my next point. My next point are just the looks. I think this SE looks incredible. It is a stunning guitar, stunning. When I first got it out of the case, I had that kind of aesthetic arrest, as they say. When I showed it to someone for the first time, showed it to other people for the first time, they were equally impressed and had that same reaction. Now I think all the colors for this guitar look great, but this lake blue is very special. It's a really cool color color. I wouldn't normally pick a blue guitar, but this blue is really good. It's blue with a teal kind of fade into the middle. It looks fantastic. The veneer on this is great, and I'm really now at the point where I don't mind if a guitar has a solid quilt top, a solid flame top, or not. Just give me a good flame veneer and I'm fine. No one can tell the difference, and I don't really care either, honestly. If it looks cool, it looks cool. At least with a veneer, you know that you're going to get a really good looking top, unlike maybe solid tops, which can be hit or miss. All right, let's get to the cons. What are the cons with this instrument? Are there any cons? Honestly, I don't really have any cons. This guitar is great. It is such a good guitar, but if I'm looking for something here, I think the only con that I could bring really is the pickup rings. Having the black pickup rings with the black pickups, but with the cream binding, I think kind of clashes. Now, this is not the only guitar that does that. I think that's kind of a common aesthetic choice with a lot of PRS guitars to have black pickup rings on a blue guitar. But I just don't like that. I think that the cream pickup rings would match better with the cream binding. That's an easy fix that would cost what, like $5? That would be nothing, and I would do that immediately if I had this guitar. Overall, I think this guitar is utterly perfect. It's an incredible guitar that is a joy to play and is really inspiring. For the price, which honestly is not that cheap, they really packed it to the gills with value, with quality, with tone. You get this in your hands, you don't think that you're buying an inferior instrument. You don't even know that you're getting an instrument that came from overseas. This looks like an American-made instrument. It plays so well. There is nothing wrong with this guitar at all. And maybe I'm alone in this, but I personally, when I think about it, I wouldn't even want the core version of this guitar. I think this guitar, as it is now, is utterly perfect as it is. And there's nothing that you could do to improve upon it. It is perfection. But what do you think about it? Thank you again for watching. I'm Dave with Beastmade Reviews. Bye. Goodbye.